My next guest says she should come with a warning label, likely to offend. Others would label her a cancer survivor, although she prefers leukemia handler because shit happens and I handle it. Diagnosed with chronic myelogenous leukemia. I really messed that up, Emily. I'm sorry. In 2016, she has been using laughter as her medicine ever since. Today, we'll be talking about the perspective that cancer gives on living your dreams and the role that humor plays in treatment. Co-founder of Stingers Comedy, the first person to ever give birth to her 3 children, multilingual stripper to the blind, Emily Dillon.
How are you? Oh, hold on. COVID. Yay.
Oh, beautiful. I love your branded face mask, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm told often that I'm a little extra. Yeah, it's okay.
So, true or false, dear? You used to practice stand-up. Oh, I love the lip gloss. That's good.
No, it's not Mary Kay.
Well, I'll let it pass this time.
I'm cheating on you, Meredith.
Girl.
So, keep going.
True or false? You used to practice stand-up while doing Pampered Chef parties.
Yes.
That's so cool.
How do you know that? You're stalking me.
Well, actually, you told me that when we first met, which was a very long time ago. It was a very brief meeting, but yes. So how did you get into comedy? It probably wasn't through Pampered Chef.
No, that was just an outlet. Actually, you make more money doing Pampered Chef comedy shows than you would doing comedy shows, but it's not quite as fulfilling because you have to wash the dishes after. Yeah, I have hair in my lip gloss. Pardon me.
That is a side effect. You got to watch out. It's a hazard.
Yeah, it is. It's a choking hazard. So, started doing comedy. Well, I've always wanted to, but I started doing it after my divorce when the kids were at their dad's for the first summer. And a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, yeah, why not? And when we went, he chickened out and I did it anyway. So that was an open mic. And then after the open mics, I just decided to start my own show. So, because that's what everybody does, right?
Yeah, because naturally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you were diagnosed with cancer, that you have mentioned to me before that changed your perspective on your pursuit of a comedy career. So tell me, how did that change your perspective of it?
Well, it takes away the fear. When you are, basically, and I say this a lot, but it's chronic myelogenous leukemia. It's a chronic leukemia. I have it forever. And I just have to take my pill every day. It treats it and I'm doing very well, but it's still there. So knowing that you have something like that waiting to kill you kind of gives you, it's like I said, the literal gun to the head. So there's nothing more to be afraid of. You just need to do what you want as long as you're not hurting other people. Pursue your dreams. No one's going to stop you except you. Mm-hmm. So you just have to do it. So I just went full force.
Yeah. And here you are.
Working.
And it's working. You seem busier than ever with your stand-up shows. Well, since before COVID-19. So
there came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, what's your, what I know we had a lot of things come to a screeching halt because of COVID-19. What's the next big thing that you're going to be participating in? Where can people go watch you or hear you?
Oh, gosh. Well, of course, everything is tentative. We did have the Killing Cancer with Comedy show that was supposed to happen at the Pensacola Little Theater on March 14th. It has been changed to July 11th. However, with everything going on, I have no idea what the reality of that is. I haven't even bothered to promote it yet because I'm just afraid of getting people's hopes up again, which is kind of the curse of this whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And my partner with Stingers, Compton, he was the other founder. He's actually moved on to pursue some things out in Colorado. So I'm really going to have to reinvent the wheel here a little bit, which is not a bad thing. I mean, we have my other partner, Gail, but Gail's busy too. She and I we're both essentials. I'm an insurance agent and she works at Baptist in admin. She actually answers phones up there. So there's no loss of work for us. And so we're super busy. It's kind of hard. We'll regroup at the end of all this and figure things out, but that doesn't stop us. We're just going to have to reinvent the wheel a little.
Do you think that COVID will give you any specific material for new bits?
You're kidding, right? I'm an insurance agent and I am finally in that corner office I always wanted. I have an ensuite bathroom and I get to tell people I'm servicing clients from my bedroom.
Speaking of your bedroom, what's going on with that pillow in the background?
This is my boyfriend. Are you kidding me?
Everyone's
like, oh, you must love Brad Pitt. No, I don't like Brad Pitt. I don't hate the guy, but he's not my thing. But I do love me some Jeffrey. I love me some Jeffrey.
Oh my God.
There's just something about those quirky Jewish boys that I love. He's musical, he's brilliant, and he's a little weird.
Oh my gosh.
Actually what I have on my Tinder profile, looking for a Jewish, brilliant, and a little weird.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great?
Well, what's something that people misunderstand about comedians that you often find?
Comedians, well, they think many people misunderstand the fact that we don't need your jokes. We write our own. Every person, oh yeah, let me tell you this story about my grandson. You can use that one. Let me tell you this joke that I heard back in 1965 when I was in Vietnam. You can use this one. We don't want your jokes. We enjoy the fact that you want to tell them to us. Thank you very much. But we don't want your material. We have our own. If you want to do jokes, that's great. Go get yourself a mic and we'll welcome you to the open mic. But that's like telling a gynecologist, let me show you how to do this. I went to school for that. I'm good. Appreciate you.
Put that away, ma'am. Put that away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious. Oh
Back
my gosh.
away from the... Hey, you told me this is going out over the airwaves.
It is off the internet. Yeah. Well, speaking of jokes, Victoria Jackson is a listener, and her late husband sadly passed away of cancer shortly after they were married. But he always had the nurses laughing, she said. And so her question is, what is your best cancer joke?
The best one? Oy, I got a few. I think my opening joke, because it's such a shock to the audience, is... and I have to stand up for this one because if you haven't already seen me, you won't understand. So I go, about 3 years ago, I got cancer. And everybody goes, ugh. And I know what you're thinking, but no, breast cancer took one look at me and went, hell no, I don't have that kind of time. Can somebody else get this?
I love that.
Yeah, that one's good. And my second favorite one is that I have a super, super hot oncologist, Alexander Brown, Sacred Heart.
Ooh.
Yes, he's delicious. And the thing that kind of stinks is that his wife is actually she's a hot shit too. So, yeah, if she wasn't, it might make it easier to, have daydreams about him. But so anyway, he's so handsome, so good looking, and he's such a cool guy that every time I get a spot, I'm like, Doc, I have a spot. I'm really worried. Can I get a cervical exam?
That's good. I love it. I bet they enjoy you a lot.
Oh, yeah. I have to kind of tone it back because not everybody's ready to laugh in the waiting room in oncology.
That's true.
But I definitely get the nurses. I'm respectful of their space and the peace and quiet because you don't know what everybody's going through. But I definitely get the nurses and doctors rolling. There's no question about that.
Do you ever get a chance to share about how cancer has kind of cured you of your fear of all the things? Does that ever come up?
With them, no. I mean, I've talked about it. I try to tell, especially my young friends, that basically don't wait until someone tells you you're going to die before you start to live. There's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, we're all afraid of the stuff that we're all afraid of is imaginary. It doesn't even exist. It only exists in our minds, and we're in full control of that. So you just need to just do what your heart tells you to do. And as long as you do that, you'll be happy. That's it. It's pretty basic. I wish I'd known 20 years ago, but it takes becoming old and decrepit to figure things out right before you die.
Well,
Those last few minutes are good.
you have lived a lot of different lives is kind of how I like to describe it, and I find that people who with creative mindsets like you typically have that in common. You were an au pair, you were a Navy wife, I found out yesterday that you know Spanish and sign language and can read Russian. I'm like, it's so amazing. How much of that makes it into your material, the stuff that you have right now?
All of it, every bit of it. Comedy is this is so poetic and kind of nauseating. Comedy is the flower that grows from pain. Oh, but it is.
That's actually true. Yeah.
I don't know that I'm a different kind of comedian. When I say I'm a comedian, I am. I just am myself. And every single joke that I ever tell is true. Every one of them is true. It's just my perspective on the truth. And I think that that's where the best comedy comes from. It's just life. You tell about what you know, where you've been. That's why 19-year-old comedians, unless they're just throwing themselves off roofs and jumping into pools full of sharks, they don't have a whole lot of experience to speak from. So it's hard to identify or to be able to connect with your audience. So just people are like, oh, I want to write jokes. No, just go back and look at your life and look at the things that have happened to you and just find the funny side of it, because that's how you get through it. It's the frosting on the turd of life.
That's so true. One of my listeners asked, her name is Mary Charbonneau, and she asked what the biggest lesson you learned about yourself fighting cancer. Now, the biggest lesson I think you already shared with us is don't be afraid. But she's asking, what is the biggest lesson you learned about yourself? Do you think that's a different answer?
From doing comedy? Gosh.
From
Mary.
From being diagnosed with cancer and
for me though. Well, it definitely
I know, it's a good question.
That's a really hard question. What have I learned about myself? That nothing can stop me. I think I was always afraid. I think I was afraid of success more than I was afraid of failure. Because this sounds so arrogant. I was a gifted kid. I was one of those gifted kids. They put me in the speedy brain class, but I couldn't get my ass to follow what my brain was doing, so I couldn't get anything done. And so hard work is what stopped me, because I thought I was so smart, I should be able to do it. I should be able to get it. But I didn't realize that I actually had to work at some things. And I think that getting cancer is just like, now you don't have a choice. And if you don't keep moving, it's going to get you. Mm-hmm. So I think I've just learned to work a lot harder and not give up, because there's only forward. You can't go backwards. It's gone. It's behind you. You can just move forward. So if you're not getting where you need to go, keep moving forward. Eventually you'll find a way there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think that a diagnosis of cancer would give you a lot more awareness of the clock, if you will.
Yeah.
And how
and appreciation for the people around you and the people that are important. You really get and it's funny, this whole COVID thing, because I was going full blast. I mean, to the point where I was exhausted 3 days before I had to have my comedy show, which was this massive, or not even this massive event that I was so excited and I worked so hard to get to. And all of a sudden someone just hit the brakes. It's just like, you can't do it. And I crashed. I came home and I crashed. Like, my body needed to stop. And with the isolation, I realized that maybe I'm not the extrovert that I thought I was. It was a real lesson in that. That I don't need the people like I thought I did. But now it's more like I choose to go out. I choose to be there to entertain them, to help them to feel better,
Mm-hmm. So it's less of something that's not selfish, isn't the exact right word, but it's less selfish, and it's more that you're going to give instead of you need to go to get.
Yeah, it's a conscious decision versus an involuntary action.
That's pretty major. Yeah, wait, where's your pen and paper? Jot that down. That was good.
Oh, wait. Note to self.
Pull it out of your bra. Well, you talked about needing to slow down. there's another listener. Her name is Mary Ann Veach, and she was just diagnosed recently with 2 different types of breast cancer because, one's not enough.
Yeah,
And
right.
she said that cancer is unique for each of us, which by itself was a thought I'd never thought. And then she
Yeah.
asks, what are some helpful protocols that you personally have found effective?
VEs, don't expect too much of yourself. It's okay to have a bad day. It's absolutely okay. It's okay to sit in a shower and cry for an hour. And then you dry yourself off and you get back up and you only do what you can. The house will fall apart around you. That's fine. There'll be a day for that. Your friends are all asking you, what can I do to help? That's what they can do to help. When you are crumbling, no one ever knows what to do when you have cancer. Now, I feel it's so weird. I feel guilty doing so well. I know that it's like a survivor's guilt thing. And after going, these guys, you hear about military guys going to war and their buddies get blown up and they're fine and they feel bad because they survived. I get a little bit of that. I mean, I don't want any sympathy for it because if you want sympathy, you can find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. Uh, my dad used to tell me that. Yeah,
I was going to say,
but
there is like an old timey sound to that one.
yeah, that was totally my
Passed
dad,
down.
Vietnam vet. So it, yeah, like when I tell people I have cancer, they're like, well, you don't look like you have cancer. I'm like, why don't you put frosting on a horse turd? It doesn't taste like a cupcake, um, I just, but it's there. I mean, it's there. But I have a lot of friends that have I call it the real cancer. It's all real, but the kind that you get nuked and you lose your hair and you're throwing up for days and days and days and you look like hell and everybody looks at you funny and they just have to be easy on themselves. Just take it easy and don't be afraid to laugh. Make fun of yourself. It helps you as much as it helps the people around you because a lot of my concern was about how, because I'm so driven by making other people feel good, that if me telling them I had cancer made them feel bad, I then had to, spit out a joke to make them feel better because I don't want that responsibility. So I have no idea if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
That was good stuff. Yeah, I kind of like got lost in that thought of you interacting with somebody. I started to play a movie in my head and of telling them you have cancer and then their reaction and then you feel like you have to make them laugh. So that's kind of where my mind just went just now, is that's not something I'd even really thought about, is the response that you get when people, hear that you have cancer. They don't know how to respond, I imagine. And they don't know what to say. So then you feel like you have to put on a show and put their mind at ease and all that. But
yeah, it's like anything, like, yeah, like telling them, oh, my mother just died. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm really, it just puts you in a weird spot. You're
yeah.
just like, eh.
Yeah, maybe it's
So
just better to recognize, yeah, so this is weird. We're here and you just found out I had cancer and now it's
yeah,
awkward.
but can I please get fries with that?
Right. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
It's just like, I'm just here. I need to get my stuff. I want to get the hell out of here. I got something in the oven. It's not cancer. It's a pie, but I need it to make me feel better.
But I need to get it, please.
Yeah. Or I'm going to be a burn victim. No, I'm not a burn victim. I'm going to have to file a claim on my homeowners. Oh,
So
God.
you said that you had some insights or tips for listeners for just living a life without fear, regardless of health condition or diagnosis. I think we're all a little bit more aware of what we have now thanks to COVID-19. We're all kind of going, wow, I had been saying I'm going to take this trip, for example, and now you can't. You got to sit your ass at home. And so there's a lot of, I think this is a special time in a way, So if you were talking with either it's a young person or someone that was in your shoes 15 years ago, what tips would you have? What insights would you have for them to live a life with less fear?
This all sounds like you've heard it 100,000 times before, but it's usually from an old broad. Be yourself, especially girls. Stand on your own too. Don't be dependent on anyone. Just what your gut tells you is right is 99.9% going to be right. Just follow what drives you, and don't worry about what everybody else thinks. It drives me crazy, and it's not my business. And I get conflicting opinions when I ask about this stuff, like, plastic surgery and coloring your hair, and do it. You got to look a certain way. You got to act a certain way. You got to have friggin' initials on the back of your car. And anyway, and don't worry about it. My opinion doesn't mean a damn thing. If that's what you want to do, you do it. Just live your life. As my daughter says, live your life, Mom. I don't care what you do. Live your life. This is the same child. She's a senior this year. And of course, she's lost everything fun. So she shaved her head. Now here I am.
Rocks
I'm
that,
a
by
cancer
the
patient
way.
with a full head of hair. And this child is so funny. She's funnier than I am. I'm just waiting to get her on the stage again. We're walking into Walmart. We have our Killing Cancer with Comedy masks on. She has a buzz cut. Okay, like it's not big, but it's like a half. And she goes, and then we were walking through there, and this man goes, "No, you guys go ahead." And she's like, "Mom, I'm just cosplaying, so you can use your card."
Oh my gosh, I'm cosplaying. That is awesome.
I love you. I'm so glad I didn't kill you at birth. Oh.
So be yourself. Don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah. Don't live in fear. Don't be afraid. And work hard. Work hard, and be positive and treat people right. But don't let them be, don't be a doormat. But don't be a dick.
That's good.
That should be a t-shirt.
I was just about to say it. I feel like there's a t-shirt there. Don't be a doormat, ... but don't be a dick. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Exactly.
I think that could be something. Yeah. So where can people find you online? Where can they get one of those cool t-shirts that you're wearing? Killing Cancer with Comedy. You can actually just find me on Facebook, Emily Olga Dillon, Dillon. And I am also on Instagram at Olga Boingo, like Oingo Boingo, but with an Olga instead of an Oingo. Oh.
Yeah, very cool, huh? Hopefully we'll be able to do the Killing Cancer with Comedy show. That may or may not be July 11th. Mm-hmm. We'll find out, but there'll be more information coming once we figure out where the world is going. And you can email me at stingerscomedy@gmail.com or killingcancerwithcomedy@gmail.com. And I am selling these t-shirts for $20. And if you're within an hour's drive of Perdido Key, I will deliver them personally and drop them at your doorstep. Also the masks. I know I'm totally merching here.
No,
these masks.
Want you to. Mm-hmm.
My buddy makes them, and you can put a filter in them and everything. And if you want one of those, they'll be $20, $5 if you need me to ship it, $5 additional. And the proceeds from that go to Rally Pensacola, to the Children's Cancer Foundation,
which is super important.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
And that's it, man. And hopefully watch Netflix. I'm hoping for a special.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. That's not going to happen. That isn't going to happen today.
Not today. That's right. Because you never know. Okay. So right before we go, tell me who inspires you comedically. It can be more than one person. I'm not going to make you pick one person, but.
Who? Jessica Kirsten. If you guys haven't heard her, she's actually going to be on this group called Hanging with Langan, Langan, today on Facebook. And she is out of New York, and she is this Jewish lady. She is frigging hilarious. She's sort of up and coming, but she should have been about 15 years ago. But as far as the old school, Robin Williams, I love Bill Burr. I kind of like the guys. I love Louis C.K., even though he's, known for doing naughty things. But, who of us hasn't done naughty things? Let's be honest. Usually the ones that act like Puritans in public are perverts in private.
Yep.
So
true.
But I love them all.
Those are good.
Jessica is my current favorite.
I'll have to look her up. Thank you so much. This was amazing, and I wouldn't expect anything less. So I hope that if you're listening, if you're watching, that you feel inspired, you feel encouraged, and that you laughed. So if you want to make a friend laugh, text this or send this to them, share it, and then you can get updates on the links that we talked about and summary from the episode by texting REAL to 66866. Thank you again, my friend. I will see you soon. That's a wrap.
Love you, girl.